I am loving this. The rumors are not stopping. As a content creator, a video creator, whatever you want to call me, I work with the good old SD card. But then the MacBook Pro that I have, the MacBook Pro 2016, is apparently too old for this technology. It has all USB-C ports and a headphone jack. And that's pretty much it. And if I want to work with SD cards, I need one of these. Yeah, the infamous dongle, the SD card adapter. But then at WWDC 2021, we may have a glimpse of hope. John Prosser, yes, the very reliable Apple leaker, says that the 2021 M2 MacBook Pro may be launched at the event with a built-in SD card slot and even an HDMI port. And do I think the rumor is true? Well, that actually requires quite a bit of explanation. Hey everyone, this is Clem from Future Reference. In a previous video, I've talked about some of the key rumors about the 2021 M2 MacBook Pro, including the complete physical redesign, the new screen sizes of 14 inches and 16 inches, the removal of the touch bar, and also possibly the return of MagSafe. But the main thing we're looking at right now is the possible return of the SD card slot and HDMI port, two key connections required by a lot of creative professionals. And there are two main schools of thought about this rumor right now. On one side, some people are thinking that the new MacBook Pro this year will definitely come with an HDMI port and SD card slot. This rumor has received quite a lot of support over the course of this year, especially with this leaked schematics of a MacBook Pro with an HDMI port, USB-C port, and an SD card slot. And this is all very tantalizing. I know I have an SD card adapter, but then if I have the choice, I wouldn't want to bring this all around with me. But then, with the release of the 24-inch iMac, a lot of excitement for this rumor has died down, because the new 24-inch iMac only comes with a headphone jack and up to 4 USB-C ports. No sign of any HDMI port or any SD card slots. And that is not a good sign. An increasing amount of people are saying that, maybe the next generation 2021 MacBook Pro will not come with an HDMI port or SD card slot after all. And in some way, that might be true. The 24-inch iMac might very well be an indication of what's going to happen with the MacBook Pro. And if that's the case, that means the HDMI port and SD card slot wouldn't be returning. But then, I don't agree with this point at all. Yes, there are established trends of how Apple borrows and transfers their design languages and concepts across different products, but then, to assess whether this rumor is plausible, I think it's very important for us to remember one thing. The use cases between desktop and laptop computers are really quite different. For once, I'm quite certain and confident that the next generation MacBook Pro will, and at least should, come with an HDMI port and SD card slot, despite them missing on the iMac. And here is why. For the iMac being a desktop computer, you're probably going to use it on a desktop. You're not going to move it around. And as much as you might not like paying Apple or whoever even more money for adapters and dongles, at least in terms of a daily workflow, whatever adapters or dongles you have bought will just sit at the back of the iMac. You plug them in and you are set. Take this SD card adapter as an example. If I have an iMac, I'll most probably leave it plugged in at the back of my iMac, and whenever I need to read an SD card, I just put the SD card right in the slot, and that's pretty much it. What Apple is prioritizing with the iMac is expandability. With up to 4 USB-C ports, the iMac gives you the flexibility to connect to external displays or storage devices or cameras, or even just use them as charging ports for your phones. The USB-C ports are more versatile than single-purpose ports like the SD card slot and the HDMI port, and hence, Apple is maximizing the versatility of iMac's peripheral connections. But then, to design a MacBook Pro, I believe Apple has a very different creative process and strategy. Most probably from taking the feedback from their customers, Apple has probably finally realized that bringing dongles and adapters alongside a MacBook Pro is not the most convenient thing for a creative professional to do. Content creators want their MacBooks, a MacBook Pro in this case, to be the full package, a device to rule everything. and I really hope the leaked schematics of the MacBook Pro are true. I just really want a built-in SD card slot and HDMI port. I am already so paranoid that sometimes my SD card will be lost somewhere, and I really don't have the energy to worry that I'm going to lose this as well. And for HDMI connections, just look at this adapter. It looks like a kid's toy. It looks like a bloody joke. And if Apple is really bringing back the built-in SD card slot and HDMI port, that will be absolutely amazing. It's one of those problems that are so minute on paper, but then if you have to think about it every day, it gets really tiring and annoying. And at this point, I just hope that when the 2021 MacBook Pro is announced at WWDC 2021, it will be time for these two and my MacBook Pro to finally retire. The iMac and MacBook Pro might run the same macOS, but then at the core, I feel like they're different products and they deserve different arrays of ports and connections. Do you agree with me on that? Leave a comment down below and tell me what you think. WWDC 2021 is really coming quite soon, so do remember to like this video, hit the subscribe button, and check out some of my other WWDC rumors on my channel. This has been Clem. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you again real soon on Future Reference.